Just days after walking free from prison, Tommy Robinson is back in the headlines, and this time it's not about his release. A fresh legal twist has just dropped, raising serious questions about timing, motive, and whether justice is really being served. Let's break it down. But first, hit the like button and subscribe for more. Just when it looked like Tommy Robinson might finally be catching a break after months behind bars, a fresh storm is now brewing, and it's threatening to pull him right back into the legal spotlight. The Crown Prosecution Service has just confirmed that Robinson is being charged with harassment causing fear of violence, a serious criminal offence allegedly committed in August last year. According to officials, the charges relate to two men and are said to stem from events that took place between August 5th and 7th, 2024. Now, here's where the timing becomes even more significant. Those dates line up with a wave of protests and riots that erupted across Britain following the shocking triple murder of 3 young girls in Southport. The killer, Axel Rudakubana, was later handed a life sentence with a minimum term of 52 years, after being found guilty not just of murder, but also the attempted murder of 10 others. Against that explosive national backdrop, tensions were understandably high, and Robinson, a figure often at the centre of such politically charged moments, was known to be actively speaking out at the time. But whether this charge is genuinely rooted in unlawful conduct, or simply another attempt to silence a controversial figure during a time of heightened unrest, is something that's already igniting fierce debate. The Crown Prosecution Service, in its statement, reminded the public that Robinson, like anyone else, has the right to a fair trial. That reminder might seem routine, but given how this case is already triggering headlines and public commentary, it also feels very pointed. Because once again, Robinson supporters are crying foul, arguing that the timing of this new charge, just days after his release from prison, feels less like justice and more like a political setup. Let's rewind for context. Just this week, High Court judges ruled that Tommy Robinson could walk free early after serving time for contempt of court. Originally sentenced to 18 months back in October 2024, his jail term was reduced by 4 months following a court review. That contempt case stemmed from Robinson breaching a High Court injunction issued in 2021. The injunction had been put in place to prevent him from repeating defamatory claims about a Syrian schoolboy, claims that were already ruled libellous in a civil court. Robinson admitted to breaching that order multiple times, including in a documentary he released. For some, his release represented the end of a long-running legal saga. For others, it was seen as a chance for him to get back to his work and continue raising concerns about the issues he believes mainstream politicians and media won't touch. But with this new charge landing just days after he left his cell, questions are now swirling. Is this justice following its course, or is it something more? Robinson is no stranger to legal run-ins, and his critics often highlight his history of arrests and convictions. But his supporters argue that many of these cases stem from politically motivated efforts to shut him down. And that argument is only gaining steam now that he's facing yet another court date, this time on June 5th at Westminster Magistrates Court. But it doesn't end there. A separate criminal trial is still looming on the horizon. In October next year, Robinson is due to face another case, this time over an alleged refusal to provide his phone PIN when stopped by Kent Police in Folkestone back in July 2024. It's a charge that falls under Section 49 of the Regulation of Investigatory Powers Act, essentially a refusal to assist in accessing potential digital evidence. If found guilty, he could face further penalties and potentially even another stint behind bars. So what does all this mean? To many watching from the outside, it paints the picture of a man under relentless legal pressure. Even after serving his sentence, Robinson is being dragged back into the dock again and again, sometimes over civil issues, sometimes over criminal accusations, and almost always in the shadow of high-profile national incidents. His critics will see this as just another chapter in a long and checkered history. But his supporters, they're already saying the system just won't let him go. And with his next appearance just around the corner, one thing's certain: the fight isn't over for Tommy Robinson, and the courtroom drama is far from finished. In other news, new research from Transport for London has revealed that 20 miles per hour speed limits led to a 34% reduction in deaths and serious injuries on borough roads between 1989 and 2013. The extensive study, the first of its scale in London, analysed more than 150 20 miles per hour schemes implemented during this period. For each scheme, researchers examined data from the 3 years before and after implementation to assess the impact on road safety. The findings will support TfL's work towards achieving the Mayor's Vision Zero goal to eliminate death and serious injury from London's transport network and encourage more walking and cycling throughout the capital. 20 miles per hour schemes led to a 40% reduction in fatalities, falling from 15 to just 9, compared to a background trend of 7% fewer deaths across all borough roads. Child safety saw particularly dramatic improvements, with a 75% reduction in children killed and a 50% reduction in child casualties. The research also documented a 35% reduction in collisions and 36% reduction in casualties on roads with 20 mile per hour limits. With the exception of motorcycle fatalities, which remained unchanged, slower speed limits reduced deaths and serious injuries across every mode of travel. The report acknowledges that 20 miles per hour schemes were not the sole cause of improved road safety during this period, as other improvement measures were also implemented between 1989 and 2013. To account for this, researchers compared the results against background trends seen across all borough roads. London Mayor Sadiq Khan has been one of the biggest supporters of 20 miles per hour speed limits by announcing that he would encourage the rollout of 20 miles per hour zones across the city when running in 2016. As mayor, Khan has overseen the introduction of more than 264 kilometers of 20 miles per hour speed limits, meaning over half of London's roads now have 20 miles per hour limits. Transport for London continues to support boroughs through £87.6 million in local implementation planning funding confirmed for 2025 to 2026, which will help introduce further 20 miles per hour zones and other road safety measures. Will Norman, Walking and Cycling Commissioner, said, "Slower speeds not only protect the most vulnerable, they also help create safer, more welcoming streets and are a vital part of building a safer London for everyone." What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comments section below. If you've not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British content. Thank you, take care, goodbye.